roads at the national and subnational level, and this will continue under our administration. There's also the launch of Nigeria Consumer Credit Corporation, which has seen over 1.9 million Nigerians applying for over 2 trillion in barely 2 weeks of its launch. There is much enthusiasm in the land for those who have remained positive. What about the Student Loan Fund, which is kicking off this week? This is another novel initiative directed at our youth. Just last week, Mr. President launched the Ano Gas Project, 3 projects in Imo State, which are meant to add an additional 500 million cubic feet or 25% to Nigeria's gas stock. We are also in the process of adding 90,000 kilometers of fiber optics to take Nigeria's internet penetration to 70%. Ladies and gentlemen, to tackle food insecurity, our Ministry of Agriculture has embarked on massive projects in wheat and other products and have covered already over 120,000 hectares of new cultivation in this season alone, with a target of 500,000 hectares. This is aimed at saving Nigeria the $5 billion we spend importing wheat yearly. In addition, with the support of our government is lending to our private sector-led oil refineries and the rejuvenation of some of the state-owned facilities. The $25 billion we spend yearly importing petroleum and other refined products will soon be a thing of the past, allowing the Naira a much-deserved breather. The investment in rice over the years is paying dividends as existing farms continue to produce. Nigeria is now known as one of the major rice producers in the world, and the billions of dollars we used to expend as a nation in rice importation has since ebbed. We believe as we walk down inflation, prices of these staples will come down considerably. We'll also add to our noticeable achievement the innovation that we have carried out in the immigrations and visa processing, which is greatly improving Nigeria's image and encouraging businesses and tourism, and the harmonization of import and export processing, the harmonization of taxes, which intends to streamline and ensure that only those with the means will be taxed. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President has been able to secure more than $20 billion in potential investment into the country, including $14 billion from India, $250 million from the Netherlands, and commitments of $500 million for lithium development in Nasarawa State, as well as another $500 million from Germany and into renewables. That one is for renewables. The Siemens power project sector picks up speed presently and will be able to show salutary effect on our energy sufficiency in good time. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has always maintained that we don't know it all. We are a humble but determined government open to ideas and refinements from well-meaning members of society. We are not afraid to backtrack and review if a policy would impose undue hardship on Nigerians, as has been seen over time. This administration is not out to make the lives of Nigerians tougher, but to make the Nigerian economy sustainable and the lives of our people more enjoyable. Be rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, that the next few years will be full of positive achievements, improvements in standards of living, higher productivity, food security, bumper harvest, and remarkable achievements with the guidance and grace of Almighty God. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have further ambitions. We are leveraging on the knowledge of globalization to get into value chains, global value chains, by ensuring
Prince Joseph Adebisi Olatilo, born on December 20th, 1953 in Kano, Nigeria, is a distinguished broadcaster renowned for his multilingual proficiency and significant contributions to Nigerian media. His parents, Prince James Adeponle and Princess Felicia Ajike Olatilo, hailed from royal lineages in Igbajo and Ilefe, Osun State, respectively. Growing up in Kano, Prince Olatilo spent 13 of his formative years immersed in the city's rich cultural tapestry. He began his education at Baptist Day School, Kano, from 1960 to 1967, laying a solid academic foundation. His spiritual journey was equally significant, marked by his baptism at Kano Baptist Church, reflecting his family's deep Christian faith. For his secondary education, he attended Kiriji Memorial College in Igbajo, located in the Boluwaduro local government area of Osun State. Here, he was an active member of the Literary and Debating Society, honing his oratory skills and nurturing a passion for broadcasting. Prince Olatilo's broadcasting journey commenced in 1975 with the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, BCOS. At BCOS, he showcased his versatility by reading news and presenting various programs, notably the Wazobia Show, which celebrated Nigeria's diverse cultures. In the course of his career at BCOS, Prince Bisi Olatilo met Princess Folashade, who would become his lifelong partner. Their union, spanning over 44 years, has been blessed with children and grandchildren, underscoring the strength and unity of their family. In 1979, he transitions to the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, where his career flourished. His exceptional command of Nigeria's three major languages, Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, earned him the role of pioneer head of Radio Nigeria 3, the country's first indigenous language broadcasting station. Throughout his tenure at FRCN, Prince Bisi Olatilo became a household name, reading the network news for an impressive 22 consecutive years, a testament to his dedication and consistency. His excellence was recognized with the Nigerian Merit Media Award for Best Radio Broadcaster in both 1993 and 1994. Committed to continuous learning, Prince Olatilo attended the Radio Nigeria Broadcast Academy in Lagos from 1979 onwards. Here, he enhanced his skills across various facets of broadcasting, including announcing, reporting, and sports commentating, ensuring his adaptability in the dynamic media landscape. He furthered his academic pursuits by obtaining a degree in mass communication from Lagos State University. His contributions to media and broadcasting have been recognized with honorary doctorate degrees from institutions such as Buckingham University in the United Kingdom. After a distinguished career at FRCN, Prince Olatilo founded Biscon Communications in 1999, a public relations and communications firm. Under this umbrella, he launched the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, a one-hour infotainment program that delves into the lifestyles, cultures, and traditions of Nigerians, presenting them to a global audience. Over the past 25 years, BOS has garnered numerous awards and accolades, cementing its place in Nigerian media. Expanding his media footprint, he established Biscon TV, a 24-hour television platform available on GoTV Channel 144 and live-streamed on YouTube. The channel offers a diverse array of content, including news, sports, business, politics, lifestyle, and entertainment programs. As Prince Joseph Adebisi Olatilo celebrates 50 illustrious years in broadcasting and the 25th anniversary of the Bisi Olatilo Show, his legacy of excellence, dedication, and cultural promotion stands as an inspiration to many. His journey reflects a profound commitment to showcasing Nigeria's rich heritage and fostering unity through the power of media.
Prince Bisi Olatilo, the chairman and CEO Biscon Communications, producers of the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, and the entire management happily announced the first anniversary of Biscon TV, our 24-hour channel on GoTV channel 108 today, Thursday, 20th September 2018. Biscon TV churns out general interest infotainment television magazine programs 24 hours a day. Biscon TV broadcasts news, sports, business, politics, lifestyle, and entertainment programs 24 hours daily. Programs open for sponsorship on Biscon TV are Biscon Fitness and Wellness, Biscon Spiritual Tips, Biscon Sports Mix, Biscon Flagship Breakfast Show, Biscon Business, Biscon Special, Biscon News, Biscon Big Screen, Biscon Movies, Biscon Special Interviews, Biscon Fashion and Styles. Biscon TV undertake live broadcast of events from all parts of the country. Biscon TV is streamed live. Download the Biscon TV app from Google Play Store. Biscon TV, engaging, interactive, all inclusive.
Surround sound, start to feel me now. Cause I want grace, I want to bubble you for my grace. Yes, I want grace, I want to bubble you for my grace. Oh yeah, when we start to do the gaga shuffle, start to do the gaga shuffle. Oh yeah. The gaga shuffle. Start to do the gaga shuffle. Start to do the gaga shuffle.
Since the advent of the unusual times the world has been faced with, as a result of the multifaceted problems the coronavirus pandemic has thrown at all of us, individually and collectively, we have all been steadily on our toes, seeking ways to stabilize our businesses through what we would rather call new unusual ways. A look at the situation globally in every kind of business gives a very gloomy picture with no respites in the horizon anytime soon. BOS and Biscon TV, through our daily news and documentary packages, especially on global information on the coronavirus pandemic and other issues of national and global concern, have formally announced our switch from the coverage of events to the production of news-related programs with new experienced hands to handle the beats. One cannot overstate the fact that the running of a 24-hour television channel with commitments like overheads for operatives and other daily and monthly operational obligations in the last 3 months must have gobbled a lot of resources. This becomes more serious when looked at from the premise that event coverage, which has been our major source of garnering resources, is completely out of the equation for now because of the prevailing circumstances as regards the COVID-19 social and physical distancing rules. We can only hope and pray that things will return to normal or near normal at best, so BOS and Biscon TV can bounce back to its normal way of making money from making people happy.
We never shut down for one day.
No.
We never shut down
Paying
for one day.
Diesel, that diesel will take a lot of your money. Paying for diesel, you know, we'll have to.
All through the lockdown,
Yeah.
stuff were being picked up and being dropped off at home.
Exactly.
That's daily cost running.
That's
That was
daily cost.
never a part of it before. People would have to come to work. But this time, because there was a lockdown and movement was really restricted, people were being picked up from home as far as two hours drive sometimes, honestly, to jeopardize the existence of a corporation as this one, you know, for things like, I mean, our leaders can even afford to bring money from their pocket to fix the leaking roof if it is that tough.
They can actually. They actually can.
So I'm looking forward to hearing amazing things like the government giving palliatives to media industries such as ours.
For anybody who has any staff, to just cut them off if they have enough money to pay. But there's some businesses that lay hotels, for example, bars, restaurants, all these conveniences that are everywhere. They work on a day-to-day basis, and it's from there that they get their income to pay salaries and restock and to be able to continue the business. How about the issue of rent, mortgages? People who can't afford to pay mortgages, they haven't received any money for 3 months. I'm afraid we're in a bit of a situation here.
In the meantime, Biscon Communications, under the able leadership of Prince Biscon Tv, who is the chairman and CEO, appeals to the federal government of Nigeria through its agencies like the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bank of Industries to give Biscon Communications financial cushion through the
goings on all over the world. And what I see is that in other climes, there's what they call palliative for businesses, small business.
vein. We also appeal to the corporate sector, including banks, the telecommunication companies, businesses in the financial sector, to place their adverts and sponsor programs on BOS and Biscon TV at very pocket-friendly rates, especially now that we're running a special discount package. The state governments, government parastatals and others are advised to take advantage of the current attractive windows on BOS and Biscon TV to boost directly to the people so that we do not retrench our staff and our business stabilizes.
And at this point, I'd like to also thank all those who have been doing business with us. Just keep the adverts coming. And you know now we're running a 100% discount promo. So take advantage of this. Don't let it slip you by.
Biscon TV, the People's Station, offers a special COVID-19 100% discount on all advertisements and program sponsorship on Biscon TV. This is calling on all our clients in all sectors, business, corporate, government, individuals, and other organizations to take advantage of this special Biscon TV COVID-19 100% discount to advertise their products and services. Churches and mosques can also take advantage of this important window to broadcast their online services on Biscon TV. Biscon TV is on terrestrial and digital satellite transmission across Nigeria and beyond. We are streaming live on www.biscontvlive.com. Check out the Biscon TV app on your Android and iOS devices. For detail, 0803 390 1756. 0802 615 4574 and 0803 455 0400. Global entertainment programming with live interaction. Biscon Daily is our daily presentation of interviews with important personalities from all spheres of life. Biscon Kitchen takes our viewers round the country for a taste of the different cuisines peculiar to us.
By contributing value-adding components to complex production all over the world. We'll continue to push for our exporters to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. We will continue to invest more and more in our most important resource, human beings. And we are developing several programs to counter the oftentimes false narratives that have been built up against the image of our country. We hope to precipitate a reverse brain drain and ensure that Nigeria is able to attract me away from dependence on a single product. We are also thinking beyond adding value to natural resources, as Mr. President has directed, to developing more capabilities and capacities in many more areas of our economy, including manufacturing.
Of Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Please, may we welcome Mr. Blasi Ijebo, the Director of Risk Management of the Central Bank of Nigeria, to deliver the keynote speech. Please put your hands together for him.
Representative of the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, but permit me to make a caveat that I will not be making any policy statement today. Anything that is perceived as a policy statement today, let me assure, as the first speaker said, we're going to be talking about reforms in the era of global economic uncertainties within Nigeria. I will read parts of the speech, but I will also interject to give it more color and flavor as we go along. So please bear with me. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to deliver this keynote address at this auspicious occasion of the 2024 Vanguard Economic Summit. I'm very delighted to be here today, particularly the fact that I'm in the midst of great intellectual minds and great assets to our great nation, Nigeria. I'm also pleased about the aptness and the timeliness of the topic for this year's summit. The theme, reforms in the era of global economic uncertainties within Nigeria, embodies for me the tough challenges and the trade-offs that policymakers worldwide are having to make or are having to navigate in response to the choppy headwinds and economic turbulence we all face. In this era that had been aptly captured as the VUCA era, which is the era of volatility, uncertainty, is characterized by choppiness of the headwinds that are driven by unending stream of shocks in the global and the regional as an elevated level of global uncertainty. It is true, there is an index called the World Uncertainty Index that measures how uncertain the world is today. And the last report of that index says that, and I like the way it summarizes it, so let me read it for you. Supply chains, geopolitical tensions, and economic fragmentation. The economic market, the financial market tightening that we have seen globally has been as a result of monetary authorities taking steps to rein in inflation. It's like ours, because we have seen flights of investment leaving developing economy back to safety as they worry about risk and uncertainties. Energy and financial markets as well as conflicts, especially the crisis in the Middle East and the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, which we have seen impacting on trade routes and other markets. These impacts have resulted in a drag on economic growth and has caused significant inflationary pressure. In addition, we have also seen fragmentation that started during the COVID-19, where governments have resorted more to protectionism, to keeping more of what they produce to protect themselves. These kind of protectionism have created uncertainties in global trade. Furthermore, the growth in global debt levels, especially amongst developing countries that are also struggling to pay or to cover the debt repayment schedule, has also created some additional uncertainty in the economic environment. On the domestic front, We have been faced with uncertainty driven by high inflationary pressure, FX volatility, rising debt burden, and slowing economy. Largely by food inflation due to the rising cost of transport, of farm produce, infrastructure-related constraints, security challenges of food-producing areas, and exchange rate pass-through to domestic prices for imported goods, for businesses and for homes. Another concern that we face is the volatility in the foreign exchange market, which over the years have been driven by market decisions for speculative activities that have impacted the price and the rate and the value of the naira. In addition, we've had concerns, or more or less we've prioritized as one of the things that we need to do, increasing the capacity of the banking system to be able to facilitate the size of transactions that will help us build and establish the $1 trillion economy that Mr. President has envisioned. Versus the abundant human resources, which is typified by the great talents and intellectual capacity that I see across the room this morning, and the natural resources in our land, we certainly deserve better outcomes than the current economic realities that we find ourselves. In responding to these uncertainties, and indeed to any kind of uncertainties, the need for appropriate focus and unwavering reforms cannot be overemphasized. As the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, I remain committed, driven, and sustainable solutions with clear positive impact on the livelihood of all Nigerians. However, addressing these challenges requires the concerted effort of all stakeholders, especially the monetary and fiscal authorities. Contribution of Vanguard newspaper in organizing this very important summit as a platform for collaboration and synergy in the march towards our common goal of a larger and more resilient economy. To greet the publisher and his adorable wife, and I was to whisper to them a big thank you for putting this together, because we hope that at the end of this summit we'll be able to harvest many new and germane ideas that we would mix with available data to move our country forward. Like you all know, we're always on the lookout for new ideas, for new collaboration, for new ways to add value to our economy and to build our economy and make it work for all of us. On our part, my team and I in the Central Bank of Nigeria are determined to continue to implement bold reforms to make the economy work for all Nigerians. We have embarked on tightening the bank's monetary policy to address inflationary pressure in the economy and believe that the results will become evident in the near term. Luckily, we are already seeing deceleration in inflation, evidenced by a decline in the month-on-month growth in headline and food inflation rates based on our March 2024 numbers. We remain committed to use all the orthodox monetary policy tools available to us to address and liberalize the foreign exchange market, which has enhanced transparency, reduced arbitrage opportunity, promoted stability, and improve liquidity in the market. The settlement of all valid FX forwards, which was one of my commitments when I came on as the Central Bank of Nigeria stakeholders. We are already seeing the result of this reform in the growth of FX flows into the country. In fact, the FX flows into the country in Q1 of 2024 was 100 of 2023. I think that deserves a round of applause. In addition, we are working to address the challenges in the BDC segment. To this end, we have developed and revised regulatory and supervisory guidelines for bureau d'echanges operation in Nigeria. This is aimed at ensuring that BDCs play the right role that they have been envisioned to play in the foreign exchange market. In addition, we have also revoked the license of BDCs who it has been established have been involved in unwholesome practices. Also, we continue to be focused on increasing the flows from diaspora remittances into the economy via official channels to improve liquidity in the foreign exchange market. We are working closely with key stakeholders to push this forward. We licensed 14 new IMTOs, which are international money transfer operators, to enhance competition, efficiency, and transparency in the foreign exchange market. We continue to be committed to a transparent and functional frameworks, and we are confident that this will lead to long-term stability of the Naira, which I know is what all of us seek. Let us be able to know exactly what the rate of the Naira is at any given time. Furthermore, the bank is in the process of increasing the capital requirement for banks to improve financial system stability and enhance the capacity of banks to support the 1 trillion economy envisioned by Mr. President. Measures are also being taken to ensure good ethical compliance with enhanced corporate governance guidelines. Distinguished participants, I am pleased to note that some of our bold actions are already bearing fruits, evidenced by the improvement in Nigerian foreign credit rating and the commendations from the World Bank and other multilateral institutions. We are confident that the prudent implementation of our reform program will restore the economy to the path of inclusive and accelerated economic growth in the near term. I would like to acknowledge that much more work is required. I assure you that the Central Bank of Nigeria is committed to and will continue to enhance its effort to deliver on its mandate of promoting monetary and price stability in Nigeria. The CBN will continue to strengthen its in order to deliver again Vanguard newspaper for its commitment and contributions to the economic development of Nigeria by regularly organizing these economic summits. Thank you for your attention.
I was looking at the program, and I have the president of NASIMA delivering his speech before my address. It was what I was trying to point out. I understand it wasn't a mistake. He wanted me to speak before he does. Good morning, and welcome to the this year Vanguard discourse. I thank Uncle Sam and the Vanguard family for periodically putting this together. The last time I was meant to attend before it was called off because of the outbreak of the pandemic. It was year 2020. We had prepared. I was meant to be the keynote speaker. I've written a long piece, about Nigeria's economic outlook. I eventually published it, but the session was called off because of the pandemic. Thank God the pandemic has come and it has gone. And here we are again. So, Uncle Sam, thank you for giving us on Nigeria's situation and mapping a way forward. I would like to, I have only 10 minutes, so I'll minimize the time I spend on protocol, but I will report with the former Minister of Industries, Mrs. Onikepo Akonde. I recognize all of you. Offer my reflection on the theme of today's discourse of global economic uncertainty. And fortunately, Nigeria has a new government, Tinubu Shetima administration, that gives Nigeria an opportunity to look at things afresh. And they are pursuing what they have described as renewed hope. The unique feature of their administration, as I would like to note, democratic transition in Nigeria. 1999, have people who were at the forefront of the struggle occupying, Asorokso. The country and the democratic class cannot afford to fail. This 30-year struggle, and both the president and the vice president had been members of the National Assembly. They've been senators. Both of them have been state governors, 8 years. So they are leading, and they can speak to, relate with the subnational. They can relate with the legislator. So they have no reason to fail. And the rest of us should also not give them any excuse. They need to succeed, regardless of the daunting task that the global reality presents. So it is in that regard that I will, contribute my own, and the first is that I see what, the government is doing, trying to find money with which to run the government, with which to maintain people's welfare, to transform its infrastructure. And I have a very simple message for them as far as fiscal struggle, fiscal situation is concerned, that the major lesson coming from the global uncertainty is that the age when you can rely on GDP or income to generate the resources you need to run government is in the action. And the major loss in that transitory process is income, is output. That our own GDP has declined steadily over the last 10 years, since 2015, from 600 billion US dollars to 350 billion dollars today. So if that's what you are trying to tax or borrow against, our exports leads the decline. So if you are trying to rely on exports or tax or debt, you borrow against income, which is the error of the past decade, that both the Jonathan administration that was there when the oil and commodity prices collapsed, and the Buhari regime needed to find a path away from income dependence towards asset dependence. You find that any country that is still struggling to depend on, income or output, including Japan, including Germany, including all the Euro area countries that were industrial champions and were trade champions, are stagnating or in decline. Japan shares the common feature with Nigeria that its GDP has declined steadily over the last 1 decade. So it's not about, and will soon be the third. We soon overtake Japan and Germany to be the third largest GDP. And you look at what they are doing. They are connecting global liquidity to their local assets. And I had the CEO of Investing there say that since 2015, they have attracted 500 billion US dollars in FDI. So it really doesn't matter what they lose from exports. They're able to generate and more than compensate for it by turning. So is there a $500 billion hiding somewhere in the corporate assets that we own? Will we be the better for it if we discover those values? Because you can leverage them. We have real estate that are potentially valuable, are not valued. They are idle. They are not hidden. You have the National Stadium, you have the Federal Secretariat. Many of the barracks, Bonny Camp, sitting next to Eko Atlantic City, should be relocated. Its market value is going to be similar to the market value of Eko Atlantic City. We earn nothing from it. We borrow 2 billion, we borrow 3 billion. Think about what you can fetch if you could leverage your real estate assets. We have infrastructure. We are the only big economy in the world that remains, that builds airports, but not terminals. And where the money is made, 40% of the revenue in aviation is made in terminals, where people can shop, where hospitality can be provided. Some even provide office accommodation, some provide hotel accommodation. We don't build terminals, and investors, we jump at that if you open that to investors. Real terminals. So in transportation, there are opportunities, not just in transport. We have power transmission. Keep saying generation is not our problem, transmission is. You don't have capacity. But how did you get capacity in telecoms? Open the space to investors and let investors come in. So we have assets we can leverage on, and we suffer needless ones. So move from income centricism to asset centricism. And if this is one of the things that this discourse, encourages us to keep urging government to do, it will be worth it. The sooner we move on to asset dependence, the better for the future of Nigeria. The second, the current team false claims in foreign exchange against the central banks. So they've led us out of that opaque regime towards a transparent regime. Is commendable. They've led us out of an exclusive regime in which this group of players are excluded. That group of players are excluded to a regime of inclusiveness. Everybody that deserves a place on the table has a place on the table. He told us how many new IMTOs have been licensed. And they're talking with DCs and the rest of it, removing, unreasonable fees, licensing fees. It's commendable. And most importantly, they achieved unified exchange rate that had eluded us maybe for a decade. They unified the exchange rates. Commendable. Only trouble, my only concern, and I see they are tightening, they are doing their administrative interventions, but the big question is that we can all see that the reason the exchange rate is volatile is that I hear the central bank, in particular the governor, saying loudly and clearly to banks that they should prepare to build their capital base to levels that will make them able to play in a $1 trillion economy. What I don't hear him or anybody from the central bank saying, what are they doing to ensure that Nigeria also builds up reserves that will support a $1 trillion economy? It's a conversation that we have to move to the front burner, not coming to let's speak more about what is being done to ensure 40 billion in reserves is not adequate even for a $350 billion GDP, much less for a $1 trillion GDP. So what are we? Check. There's no country that with stable exchange rate that is not maintaining that stable exchange rate behind the wall of reserves. And it's very, very important that this second conversation, be promoted to the front burner. It's my I commend everything, that the government is doing, but transition from income to assets, and speaking more specifically, before you remove the speck in the eyes of the banks, let's remove the log in our own eyes first. And so before we recapitalize banks and exchange rate rubbishes their new capital base, let's rebuild reserves so that behind that wall of reserves, exchange rate can be stable, inflation can come down, and the economy can grow, and we can become poverty. Well, I understand I had just about a minute left, and I might want to just leave it at this point. I thank you very much for your attention.
First, by saying, like I've said, I don't know why I was chosen. Maybe because someone felt they've not heard from Nasima. And some of us are here, maybe you don't know what Nasima is. Nasima is the umbrella body for all chambers of commerce in Nigeria. We encompass all the chambers, and I'm in 71 locations. That means I have some 71 physical offices in the entire 36 states. We are one of the largest, if not the largest business in Nigeria, because I don't know of any other private sector organization that has 71 physical offices in different places. Then we also have another set of bilateral chambers, which are part of that network. When you have the Nigeria came in on an 8-point agenda. Because I also believe to some extent, he's probably a victim of some of those working for him. Because if you look at the policies, I want you to be the judge when I finish, whether those agendas is consistent with the policies of some of the MDAs, the agents, or even ministries. So this is what I want us to do, so that as especially as newspapers or as your board's engagement with us, why is yours different? So that they can now explain. Because there's an African saying that the okra tree is never stronger than the owner. No matter how tall, you pluck it down. So Mr. President has that power at any time to pull down or bring to the level of his policy whatever I know the MDAs are doing. And these 8 agendas I'll just read because we have a long way to go and I don't know how long I have. He has an agenda for food security. We also have ending poverty. That's very important for all of us. Economic growth and job creation. In fact, we're told that we'll create 50 million jobs. Access to capital at the current CBN, MPR rate, MPC rates. The banks are doing about 50% now, 45%. Even if you are doing drugs, you cannot make profit. So I don't know who they are lending to. Improving security, rule of law, fighting corruption. These are the 8-point agendas. And we have, it also went further to say immediate action strategies, implementation, monitoring, collaboration, transparency, sectoral focus, challenges and expectations, then the economy environment. All these were part of this. And this thing was read by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister in their first meeting of ministers. So I must also, so if he did not remove the first subsidy on that day one, we would have had a situation where for the villa. So no problem, quite courageous. And I said the first subsidy, which was the first thing. In fact, the President confessed that he did not put it in his speech, that he had to put it by himself, so that when they said, don't say it, and he did it. I said, Nigeria is African, I think we are now number 3 or 4 in the world. I've never heard any, in Africa, I never heard any government official acknowledge that Nigeria has gone down. Everything, we're all malams. As we are here now, if the dollar falls, it affects all of us. Unless if you are smart enough to either put your money in assets, whom you think we appreciate, but if it's in cash, in naira, it naturally falls. And that's why everybody at one time, we all at where they sell the dollars, where everybody keeps buying. Even my market women, they don't need dollars because they have to keep their value at a certain time. So Nigeria as African 4 largest economies in crisis due to a bulge economic reform. It was mentioned that the change was done by SY presidential candidate Chief Emefiele and Godwin. I'm not lying now. Didn't you see the campaign posters? And I don't know how he managed to keep his job after that kind of campaign. In any country where there's law, he won't even go back to the office the day he announced that he was going to be our president. So he, and I mention one thing, which that currency change cost us so dearly. From my own chambers of commerce, I have members that sell goods as far as Libya. They come with wires of dollars. They buy transformers, they buy generators, they load it and take it through the Sahel. So Naira was a very big currency in that ecosystem. Almost about 3 trillion Naira business, where Naira, people were keeping Naira for them to use to buy goods in Nigeria. So immediately we changed our currency. What happened? They immediately had to dump the Naira and go for a CFA or dollar. Just imagine that impact. And nobody has done that research of the impact of that currency change, which all of us now, if the POS merchant outside can give you 2 million, but nobody has asked, how did we get there? Even the banks, they don't have cash. Because immediately they gave the contract for their ATMs to private businesses. Those private businesses, when the Mefele problem started, they don't know Naira. The POS and those of us that used to spray, they took over that business. Nobody has cash. There's no cash. That's the truth. If you go to a bank and say, give me 5 million, they can't give you. But the POS person has. So this is some of the issues, and I've seen the central bank is trying to regulate them, by asking them now to register with corporate affairs. I don't know whether it was a proper starting point. Somebody who's just sitting under the sun, who does not have a name before. He said he should start from the corporate ladder, where he has to engage an accountant to file tax return. And whether they're trying to kill the business, I don't know. But one expects that there should be a stakeholder engagement, where you can bring those people in a very formal way. At least start with the business name, not to say go and be the directors. Beside him, that will be his director, where they will have a board meeting under the canopy. And so these are the kind of policies you see. It's like somebody reading from a book in America, try to use it in Ajegule. It won't work. So this is part of the challenges we have. We have the floating of the naira. And I want to say here that there are only 10 countries in the world where they freely sell country for this purpose. So we have the USA, EU, Japan, Norway, Australia, and a few others. Then you also have a set of countries who have stronger fundamentals than Nigeria. And that is Qatar, China, India, UAE. They don't sell their currency the way Nigeria sells. You know why? They don't have governance. The emir of Qatar can change the price of the currency by a decision. So the investor in the US will not bet on that currency because it's subject to